My beloved soul, pause right now, because what you are about to hear is not ordinary. This is not just another message passing through your ears. This is a divine interruption, one that was timed specifically for this very moment in your life. You didn't stumble upon this by accident. No, something deeper, something unseen, has guided you here. And the truth is, most people will scroll past this. Most people will never slow down enough to receive what is about to be revealed. But you were meant to stop. There is something God has been trying to tell you, something so powerful that if you truly hear it, it will shake you to your core. But here is the problem. Your world has been too loud. The constant noise, the endless distractions, the racing thoughts, they have been drowning out the very voice that holds your answers. And now, God is saying one thing so clearly, so urgently: be still and listen closely. This is not a gentle suggestion. This is a divine command wrapped in love and urgency. Because what is coming next in your life requires your full awareness. Something is shifting behind the scenes. Something you cannot yet see is already in motion. And if you are not still, if you are not paying attention, you might miss the very instruction that could change everything. Right now, in this exact season of your life, there is a reason you have been feeling different. A reason why things have seemed uncertain, why certain doors feel like they are closing, and why your spirit feels restless even in moments of silence. That is not confusion. It is preparation. It is the calm tension before a major revelation. And deep down you already feel it, don't you? God does not speak over chaos. His voice does not compete with noise. His voice comes in stillness, in the quiet moments when everything else fades away. But here's what will truly shake you: He has already been speaking. Yes, even in the moments you thought nothing was happening, even in the silence you thought was empty, His voice has been there all along, waiting, calling, guiding. But now, something is different. The message is becoming louder. The urgency is increasing. It's no longer something you can ignore or push aside. Because what God is about to reveal to you is not small. It is not temporary. It is something that will shift the direction of your life in ways you cannot yet imagine. And this is why you were told to be still. Because when you finally quiet everything around you, when you silence the fear, the doubt, the overthinking, you will begin to hear something unmistakable. And truth that cuts through confusion. A direction that feels undeniable. A knowing that settles deep within your spirit. But here's the question you must ask yourself right now: are you truly ready to hear it? Because once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. Once you understand it, you cannot go back to who you were before. This is the moment where everything begins to change, not around you, but within you. So stay here. Don't rush. Don't let your mind wander. Because what is coming next will begin to reveal why this moment, this exact pause, is one of the most important turning points of your life. And the silence you are being called into is not empty. It is full of answers. There is a reason God is asking you to be still right now, and it is far deeper than you think. Stillness is not a pause without purpose. It is not a delay, and it is certainly not abandonment. What you are experiencing in this moment is the silence before something significant unfolds. And if you misunderstand this silence, you may begin to feel anxious, confused, or even forgotten. But the truth is, this silence is sacred. It is intentional. It is preparation. Think about the moments in your life when everything suddenly changed. Before those turning points, there was always a quiet phase, a period where nothing seemed to move, where answers felt distant, and where clarity was just out of reach. That is exactly where you are now. And what feels like stillness on the surface is actually a deep spiritual alignment taking place beneath it. God uses silence as a tool, not to hide from you, but to prepare you. Because if everything was revealed to you all at once, you would not be ready to carry it. If every answer came instantly, you would not grow into the person who can sustain the blessing. So instead, He brings you into stillness, not to withhold, but to transform. Right now, there are things being rearranged in your life that you cannot yet see. Paths are being redirected. Doors are quietly closing so that better ones can open. And while it may feel uncomfortable, even unsettling at times, this is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that something is about to become right in a way you never expected. This is why your spirit has been restless. Not because you are lost, but because you are being repositioned. You are being pulled out of what no longer serves you, even if it once felt familiar or safe. And in this transition, there must be a moment of stillness, a space where the old fades away and the new has not yet fully appeared. This in-between space can feel heavy. It can feel like waiting without answers. But what you must understand is that God does His most powerful work in these unseen moments. While you are waiting, He is working. While you are questioning, He is aligning. And while you feel still, everything around you is quietly shifting into place. But here is where many people miss it. They tried to escape the stillness. They rush to fill the silence with noise, distractions, or quick decisions. They mistake movement for progress. And in doing so, they step out of alignment with what God is trying to do. Because not every action leads you forward. Sometimes, the most powerful action you can take is to remain still and trust. Stillness requires faith. It requires you to believe that even when you cannot see the outcome, something greater is unfolding. It asks you to release control and allow God to move in His timing, not yours. And that is not easy. It goes against everything the world teaches about urgency, speed, and constant motion. But God's way is different. He does not rush. He does not panic. He moves with precision, with purpose, and with perfect timing. And when He asks you to be still, it is because He is about to reveal something that requires your full attention, something that cannot be rushed, forced, or ignored. You are standing at the edge of a shift. You may not see it yet, but you can feel it. That quiet tension inside you, that sense that something is about to happen. That is not your imagination. That is your spirit recognizing that you are on the verge of breakthrough. And before that breakthrough comes, there must be stillness. Because stillness sharpens your hearing. It clears your vision. It prepares your heart. It brings you into a place where you are no longer reacting to everything around you, but instead, you are ready to receive what is meant specifically for you. So do not fear this silence. Do not try to escape it. Lean into it. Sit with it. Trust it. Because what feels like nothing is actually everything being prepared. And very soon, what is hidden in this stillness will begin to speak. Listen carefully, because this is where everything begins to shift in a way you did not expect. The truth is, God has already been speaking to you. Not just once, not just recently, but over and over again in ways so subtle that you may have overlooked them. And now, in this moment, you are being awakened to realize that what you thought was coincidence was actually divine communication all along. Have you noticed those moments when a thought keeps returning to your mind, even when you try to ignore it? That quiet inner nudge that tells you to pause, to reconsider, or to move in a different direction. That was not random. That was not your imagination. That was God gently guiding you, trying to get your attention without overwhelming you. Sometimes his voice came through a feeling you could not explain, a sudden sense of peace in one situation, or a deep discomfort in another. Sometimes it appeared through unexpected delays, where things simply would not work no matter how hard you tried. And other times, it showed up in repeated patterns, seeing the same message, hearing the same words, encountering the same signs again and again. These were not accidents. These were whispers. But here is what will truly shake you. You were never being ignored. You were being guided. But the noise around you made it difficult to recognize the guidance for what it was. Think about how many times you second-guessed yourself. How often you felt something deep inside, but dismissed it because it did not make logical sense. You told yourself you were overthinking. You told yourself to be practical, to follow what was visible instead of what was felt. And in doing that, you unknowingly silenced the very voice that was trying to lead you to clarity. God's voice does not force itself upon you. It does not compete with chaos. It speaks in a way that requires your awareness, your stillness, and your willingness to trust. And if you are constantly surrounded by noise, external or internal, you will miss it, not because it is not there, but because you are not tuned in. This is why you were called into stillness, not just to rest, but to recognize, to finally see that God has been present in every step you have taken, even the ones that felt uncertain, even the ones that led to confusion or disappointment. Because every moment carried a message, and every message was meant to guide you closer to where you are meant to be. And now, something inside you is beginning to awaken. You are starting to connect the dots. You are realizing that those feelings, those pauses, those inner promptings, they were all leading you here, to this exact moment of awareness. This is not just realization. This is revelation. But with revelation comes responsibility. Because once you recognize God's voice, you cannot ignore it the same way again. Once you understand that He has been speaking, you are now faced with a choice. Will you continue to doubt what you feel? Or will you begin to trust it, even when it challenges your comfort? This is where many people hesitate, because listening to God often requires change. It asks you to step away from what feels familiar and step into what feels uncertain. It may ask you to release something you have been holding onto for too long. It may ask you to walk a path that others do not understand, and that can feel overwhelming. But here is the truth you need to hold on to. God would not speak to you if He had not already prepared a way for you. Every instruction carries provision. Every calling comes with guidance. And every moment of clarity is backed by a greater plan that you may not fully see yet, but is already in motion. So the question is no longer whether God is speaking. The question is whether you are ready to listen without resistance. Because what He is revealing now is not small. It is not something you can simply acknowledge and move on from. It is something that demands your attention, your trust, and your willingness to follow through. And as you begin to truly listen, you will notice something powerful happening within you. The confusion that once clouded your mind will begin to fade. The uncertainty that once held you back will start to loosen its grip. And in its place, there will be a quiet but undeniable sense of knowing. Not loud, not overwhelming, but clear. That is how you will know it is Him. So do not dismiss it this time. Do not push it aside or explain it away. Lean into it. Trust it. Because this voice you have been ignoring is the very voice that has been trying to lead you into the life you have been praying for. Type "I am ready to listen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 911 is now activated. And as this truth settles into your spirit, understand this: you are not here by chance. You are here because this message is moving through you for a reason. If your heart feels stirred, if something within you is being awakened, then this is your moment to act. There are others out there who are still lost in the noise, still searching for clarity, still waiting for a sign just like the one you are receiving right now. When you choose to support this mission, you are not just giving, you are becoming a vessel. Like a seed sown into fertile ground, your act of giving allows this message to reach souls who are desperate for guidance. The word says, "Give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not just a verse. It is a living promise speaking directly to you in this moment. If you feel that pull in your spirit, that quiet urging to be part of something greater, then do not hesitate. Step into it. Your support through Super Thanks or PayPal is not just a contribution. It is a divine action. The links are in the description, and the QR code is right before you. This is your opportunity to move in alignment with what God is doing right now. Give as you are led. Act in faith. And watch how what you release returns to you in ways you never expected. There is a deeper reason behind this moment of stillness you have been placed in, and it is not or ye. It is intentional. Right now, God is not asking you to be still because nothing is happening. He is asking you to be still because too much is happening at once, and if you move too quickly, you could step out of alignment with what is being carefully arranged for you. You may feel the urge to act, to fix, to control, or to push things forward. That urge can feel overwhelming, almost like if you do not do something right now, everything will fall apart. But that feeling is not coming from divine clarity. It is coming from human impatience. And impatience, if not controlled, can disrupt the very blessing that is on its way to you. God sees the full picture. He sees what is ahead, what is behind, and what is hidden in places you cannot yet reach. You, on the other hand, can only see fragments. You see moments, emotions, and situations as they appear in front of you. And because of that limited view, it is easy to misunderstand what is truly happening. This is why stillness is necessary. Because when you are still, you stop reacting to fragments and start trusting the full picture that only God can see. There are things in your life right now that may not make sense. Situations that feel delayed, opportunities that seem just out of reach, conversations that did not go the way you expected. And naturally, your instinct is to fix them, to chase after answers or to force outcomes. But what if those delays are actually protection? What if those closed doors are not rejection, but redirection? God is not holding you back. He is holding you in place for a reason. There is a timing to everything, and divine timing does not operate on pressure or panic. It operates on precision. Every detail is being aligned in a way that will make sense when the moment arrives. But if you rush ahead, you risk stepping into something that is not fully prepared, something that could bring confusion instead of clarity. Think about it this way. Have you ever forced something in your life before its time? Maybe a decision, a relationship, or an opportunity. In that moment, it may have felt right to push forward. But later, you realize that it came with unnecessary struggle, stress, or even regret. That is what happens when movement is driven by impatience instead of divine instruction. Right now, God is protecting you from that outcome. He is asking you to be still, not because He wants to delay your progress, but because He wants to ensure your success. There is a difference between moving fast and moving right. And in this season, moving right is far more important than moving fast. You are being positioned. There are pieces falling into place that you cannot yet see. People are being moved. Circumstances are shifting, and opportunities are being prepared. And all of this is happening in a way that requires your stillness, your trust, and your patience. But let's be honest, stillness can feel uncomfortable. It can feel like you are doing nothing when everything inside you is telling you to do something. It can feel like you are being left behind while others are moving forward. And in those moments, doubt can begin to creep in. You may start to question whether you are on the right path. You may wonder if you missed something or if you should take matters into your own hands. But this is the moment where your faith is being tested and strengthened. Because faith is not proven when everything is clear. Faith is proven when you choose to trust even when things are uncertain. And right now, your stillness is an act of faith. Every moment you choose not to rush, every moment you resist the urge to force an outcome, every moment you sit in quiet trust, you are aligning yourself more deeply with God's plan. You are allowing Him to lead instead of trying to lead on your own. And that is where true peace begins to enter. Because when you stop striving, you start receiving. When you stop forcing, you start flowing. And when you stop trying to control every outcome, you begin to see how perfectly things can unfold without your interference. So understand this clearly. This stillness is not empty. It is full of purpose. It is a sacred space where preparation is happening, where alignment is taking place, and where your next step is being carefully revealed. You not rush out of it. Because what God is preparing for you right now requires your patience to fully receive it. There is something happening around you right now that you cannot fully see, but you can feel its weight. It is subtle, yet powerful. It shows up as resistance when you try to move forward, as confusion when you seek clarity, and as heaviness when you are on the edge of something meaningful. This is not sluchaikaki. This is a hidden battle, and it often intensifies when you are closest to a breakthrough. Not every struggle you face is physical or visible. Some battles exist on a deeper level, within your thoughts, your emotions, and your spirit. And these are the battles that can either weaken you or awaken you, depending on how you respond to them. Have you noticed how, just when you begin to feel a sense of direction, something subtly disrupts your focus? Maybe it is doubt creeping into your mind, or distractions pulling your attention away. Sometimes it feels like you are being pulled in different directions at once, making it difficult to stay grounded. That is not a coincidence. It is resistance. Because when you are about to step into something greater, there will always be forces that try to keep you where you are. This does not mean you are under attack in a way that should cause fear. It means you are stepping into something valuable enough to require awareness. And this is exactly why God is calling you into stillness, not just for peace, but for protection. Stillness is not weakness. It is strength in its purest form. When you are still, you are no longer reacting blindly. You are observing. You are discerning. You are allowing truth to rise above confusion. And in that space, you begin to see things for what they truly are. Think about how easy it is to make the wrong decision when you are overwhelmed. When emotions are high, when pressure is building, when everything feels urgent, that is when mistakes happen. That is when people say things they regret, take paths they should have avoided, and lose sight of what truly matters. But when you are still, you break that cycle. You step out of reaction and into awareness. And awareness is what protects you. Right now, there may be people, situations, or even internal patterns that are not aligned with where you are meant to go. Some of them may appear harmless. Some may even feel familiar or comfortable. But deep down, there is a part of you that senses something is not right. That quiet discomfort you feel, that is your spirit recognizing misalignment. God is revealing these things to you, not all at once, but gradually. Because if everything was exposed in a single moment, it would overwhelm you. Instead, he allows you to see step by step, layer by layer, as you become ready to understand. And this is where the hidden battle becomes clear. It is not just about external obstacles. It is about internal clarity. It is about recognizing what belongs in your life and what does not. It is about understanding that not everything that comes your way is meant to stay. There are distractions that look like opportunities. There are connections that feel right at first but slowly drain your energy. There are thoughts that seem logical but lead you away from your true path. And without stillness, it is easy to mistake these things for something they are not. But now, you are being awakened. You are beginning to see beyond the surface. You are starting to recognize patterns you once ignored. You are feeling a deeper sense of discernment rising within you. And that is not SLUCHIAKAKIN or yet. That is God equipping you. Because as you move closer to what is meant for you, clarity becomes essential. And clarity does not come through chaos. It comes through stillness. So do not be discouraged by the resistance you feel. Do not interpret it as a sign that you are going the wrong way. In many cases, it is the opposite. It is a sign that you are moving in the right direction, and that something is trying to slow you down or distract you from reaching your next level. But you are not unaware anymore. You are not reacting blindly anymore. You are stepping into a place of understanding, where you can see beyond what is obvious and recognize what is true. And in that truth, there is power. Power to choose wisely. Power to move with intention. Power to remain grounded even when everything around you feels uncertain. This hidden battle is not here to defeat you. It is here to reveal you, to show you your strength, your awareness, and your ability to stay aligned with God even when things are not clear. So remain still, not out of fear but out of confidence. Because in your stillness, you are not losing control. You are gaining clarity over everything that once tried to control you. There is something you are beginning to realize now, something that may feel uncomfortable at first, but deep down you know it is true. Not everything in your life hath been as clear or as honest as it appeared. There have been layers, hidden intentions, unspoken truths, and subtle patterns that were never meant to be obvious. And now, in this moment of stillness, those layers are starting to lift. This is the message you were not supposed to hear. Not because it is harmful, but because it is powerful. Truth has a way of disrupting what is false. It has a way of breaking illusions that once felt safe. And when those illusions begin to fall, it can feel unsettling. But what is being revealed to you now is not meant to harm you. It is meant to free you. There were moments in your past when something did not feel right, but you pushed that feeling aside. You gave the benefit of the doubt. You tried to see the good. You convinced yourself that things would improve, that clarity would come later. And while your intentions were pure, those moments carried signals, quiet warnings that something was not fully aligned. God saw those moments, and even when you did not fully understand them, He was guiding you through them, protecting you in ways you did not even realize. Some things did not work out not because you failed, but because you were being redirected. Some connections weakened not because you lost something valuable, but because you were being separated from what could not go with you into your next season. Now, as you stand in this place of awareness, the truth is becoming clearer. You are starting to see people for who they truly are, not just who you hoped they would be. You are recognizing situations for what they really represent, not just how they appeared on the surface. And most importantly, you are seeing yourself more honestly, your patterns, your choices, your strengths, and the areas where you have outgrown your old ways of thinking. This is not SLUJIKAKIN. This is revelation. But revelation comes with a shift. Because once you see clearly, you cannot return to blindness. Once truth enters your awareness, it demands a response. It asks you to adjust, to realign, and sometimes to let go. And letting go is not always easy. There may be things you have held onto for a long time, beliefs, habits, relationships, or expectations. They may have felt like a part of you. They may have brought comfort or familiarity. But now, you are beginning to sense that they no longer fit who you are becoming. That realization can feel heavy. It can bring questions, uncertainty, and even a sense of loss. But what you must understand is this: God does not reveal something to you just to take away your peace. He reveals it to restore your alignment. Because what is not aligned with your future cannot remain in your present. This is why this message feels so intense. It is not just information. It is transformation. It is the moment where you are being asked to step into a higher level of awareness and to make choices that reflect that awareness. You may begin to notice a shift in how you respond to things. Situations that once triggered you may no longer have the same effect. Conversations that once felt normal may now feel draining or unnecessary. Environments that once felt comfortable may now feel restrictive. This is not confusion. This is growth. You are evolving into a version of yourself that sees more, understands more, and aligns more deeply with truth. And with that evolution comes the responsibility to honor what you now see. God is not forcing you to act, but He is inviting you to choose wisely. To choose clarity over comfort. To choose truth over illusion. To choose alignment over attachment. And as you begin to make those choices, something powerful will happen. You will start to feel lighter. Not because everything around you has changed instantly, but because you are no longer carrying what does not belong to you. You are no longer holding on to what was never meant to stay. You are stepping into a space where your life begins to reflect the truth you now understand. This is the message you were not supposed to hear, because it changes everything. It shifts your perspective. It redefines your path. It opens your eyes in a way that cannot be undone. But this is also the message that sets you free. So do not resist it. Do not turn away from it. Embrace it, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Because this truth, this clarity, this awakening is leading you exactly where you are meant to be. Something is happening within you now, and it is not small. It may not be loud, it may not be visible to others, but it is undeniable. It is a shift, quiet, powerful, and irreversible. The moment you began to truly listen, the moment you allowed stillness to reveal what was hidden, everything started to change from the inside out. This is how transformation begins. Not with external noise, not with sudden dramatic events, but with an internal awakening that rewrites the way you see everything. You are no longer the same person who started this journey. There was a time when confusion felt overwhelming, when uncertainty made you anxious, when you searched outside for answers that never fully satisfied you. But now, something is different. There is a new awareness rising within you, a sense of clarity that does not come from logic alone, but from a deeper place, a place where truth feels steady, even when circumstances are not. This is what happens when you begin to align with God. You stop chasing answers, and instead, answers begin to find you. You stop forcing direction, and instead, direction begins to unfold naturally. You stop reacting to everything around you, and instead, you respond with intention and understanding. That is the shift. And once it begins, It cannot be undone. You may notice it in the way you think. Thoughts that once controlled you no longer have the same power. Doubts that once felt heavy now feel distant, like echoes of a version of yourself you are leaving behind. You are becoming more aware of what is true and what is not, what matters and what does not. You may also notice it in the way you feel. There is a calmness beginning to settle within you. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer dependent on everything being perfect to feel at peace. Your peace is no longer tied to outcomes. It is rooted in trust. And that trust is what will carry you forward. Because as this shift deepens, you will be led into decisions and directions that may not always make sense at first. There will be moments where you are guided to step forward without having all the details. Moments where you feel called to move away from what is familiar and toward something unknown. And this is where your faith becomes action. Listening is no longer enough. Now, you are being asked to follow. But understand this clearly. You are not being led blindly. Every step you take is supported by something greater than what you can see. The same voice that brought you into stillness, the same presence that revealed truth to you, is the same one that will guide you forward. You are not alone in this. And as you begin to move in alignment, you will start to notice something extraordinary. Things that once felt complicated will begin to simplify. Situations that once felt stuck will begin to open. Connections that are meant for you will begin to strengthen, while those that are not will naturally fall away without force. This is not sluchaikakien. This is alignment in motion. When you are aligned with God, life begins to flow differently. It does not mean there will be no challenges, but it means those challenges will no longer control you. You will move through them with a sense of clarity and purpose that was not there before. And perhaps the most powerful part of this shift is this: you begin to trust yourself again. Not in a way that is driven by ego, but in a way that is grounded in connection. You trust what you feel because you recognize where it is coming from. You trust your decisions because they are no longer based on fear, but on discernment. This is the version of you that was always there, waiting to be awakened. And now, it is rising. So do not hold back. Do not question whether you are ready. This shift did not come to you sluchaikakien. It came because you are prepared to carry it. You are prepared to live differently, to think differently, to choose differently. And as you continue forward, remember this moment. Remember the stillness that started it all. Remember the truth that was revealed. Remember the voice that guided you here. Because this is not just a temporary feeling. This is a new way of being. A new way of walking through life with clarity, with purpose, and with a deep, unshakable connection to God. And from this moment on, everything begins to change. There is something you must understand right now, and it carries a weight that cannot be softened or overlooked. What you have been hearing, what you have been feeling, what has been unfolding within you. This is not something to take lightly. This is not just guidance. This is a warning. God does not repeat himself without reason. If a message continues to return to you, if a feeling refuses to leave, if a truth keeps rising no matter how much you try to set it aside, it is because it requires your attention. And right now, you are standing at a point where what you choose to do next truly matters. Because ignoring this moment will not leave things unchanged. There are consequences to silence when you are being called to listen. There are consequences to delay when you are being called to act. Not as punishment, but as a natural result of stepping out of alignment with what is meant for you. You have already been shown enough to recognize that something in your life requires a shift. You have already felt the nudge, the discomfort, the clarity breaking through the confusion. And now, the choice is in front of you. Will you respond, or will you retreat back into what feels easier? Because returning to comfort may feel safe for a moment, but it will not bring you peace. There is a difference between comfort and alignment. Comfort keeps you where you are. Alignment moves you where you are meant to be. And sometimes, alignment requires you to make decisions that are not easy, but necessary. You may be holding on to something that God is asking you to release. A situation that no longer serves you. A pattern that keeps repeating. A connection that feels familiar but no longer feels right. And deep down, you already know it. But knowing and acting are two different things. And this is where the warning becomes clear. If you continue to ignore what has been revealed to you, you may find yourself repeating the same cycles, facing the same frustrations, asking the same questions over and over again. Not because you are stuck, but because you are avoiding the very step that would move you forward. God is not trying to make your life difficult. He is trying to make your path clear. But clarity requires response. You cannot receive direction and remain in the same place. You cannot be shown truth and continue to live in illusion. At some point, a decision must be made. And that point is now. This does not mean you need to have everything figured out. It does not mean you need to know every step ahead. It simply means you need to honor what you already know. Start there. Start with the truth that has been revealed to you. Start with the feeling that will not leave you. Start with the awareness that has been growing within you. Because that is where your next step begins. And here is something you must hold on to. When you choose alignment, even when it is difficult, you are never left without support. God does not guide you into something and then abandon you. He walks with you through it. He strengthens you in the moments where you feel uncertain. He provides clarity when you need it most. But that support is activated through your willingness to move. You must take the step. And yes, it may feel uncomfortable. It may require courage. It may require you to let go of something that once felt important. But on the other side of that decision is something greater than what you are leaving behind. Peace, clarity, freedom. These are not distant promises. They are the natural results of alignment. So do not ignore this warning. Do not push it aside or wait for a better time. This moment is your confirmation. This is where the cycle can break. This is where the shift becomes real. And this is where you decide whether you will continue to stay where you are or step into what is waiting for you. Type "I choose alignment" in the comments if you are ready to move forward. Blessing code 222 is now activated. And as you stand in this moment of decision, understand this. Your response does not only impact you. There are others who are still waiting, still searching, still praying for the clarity you are receiving right now. When you step into alignment, you become a light that helps guide them as well. This is why your action matters. When you choose to support this mission, you are not simply giving. You are sowing into something eternal. Like a seed planted in faith, your offering becomes a channel through which God's word flows into the lives of those who need it most. The scripture declares, "Whoever sows generously will also reap generously," and this is a living promise being extended to you right now. I feel called to act in this moment. Let that be your declaration. The opportunity is already in front of you. The PayPal link is in the description, and the QR code is placed within your reach. This is not SL Nhuche Adikaki and or yeah. It is a divine invitation to participate in something greater than yourself. Release your seed. Step into obedience. And watch how heaven responds to your faith with overflow, with favor, and with unexpected blessings. Take a moment and be honest with yourself. How many times have you quietly asked for a sign? Not always out loud, not always in a formal prayer, but deep within your heart. In moments of confusion, in moments of doubt, in moments where you needed direction, you asked God to show you something, anything, that would confirm you are not alone and that you are on the right path. And now here you are. This is not slujakakli. This is your answer. You may have expected the sign to come in a different form. Maybe you thought it would be something dramatic, something undeniable and visible to everyone around you. But God does not always speak in ways that are loud to the world. He speaks in ways that are clear to the one who is ready to receive. And this moment, this message, the way it is speaking directly into your thoughts, your feelings, your situation, this is your confirmation. Think about the timing. Out of all the moments, all the distractions, all the paths you could have taken today, you were led here. Not by chance, but by alignment. Something within you was searching, and something greater responded. That is how God works. He meets you where you are, but He also draws you toward where you need to be. You have been asking for clarity, and now clarity is being given. You have been seeking direction, and now direction is being revealed. But here is the part that truly matters, recognizing it for what it is. Because a sign is only powerful if you acknowledge it. Many people ask for signs, but when they receive them, they question them. They doubt them. They look for reasons to dismiss them, because accepting the sign means they must also accept the responsibility that comes with it. And that responsibility is change. This message is not just here to comfort you. It is here to confirm something within you that has been waiting to be recognized. That feeling you have carried, that quiet knowing you could not fully explain, it is real. You are not imagining it. You are being guided. There is a path opening in front of you, and even if you cannot see the full picture yet, you can feel the direction. You can sense that something is shifting, that something is calling you forward, that something is asking you to trust more deeply than you ever have before. This is the moment where faith becomes real. Not just something you believe in, but something you live by. Because when you recognize a sign from God, you are being invited into a deeper level of trust. A trust that goes beyond logic, beyond comfort, beyond what others may understand. It is a trust that says, even if I do not see everything clearly, I know I am being led. And that kind of trust changes everything. It changes how you make decisions. It changes how you respond to uncertainty. It changes how you view challenges, not as obstacles, but as part of a greater plan unfolding. Right now, you are standing in a moment that many people wait for but never fully recognize. A moment where clarity meets opportunity. A moment where awareness meets action. This is where your next chapter begins. But here is something important to understand. This sign is not the end. It is the beginning. It is the confirmation that you are aligned enough to receive, aware enough to recognize, and ready enough to move forward. But what you do with this confirmation is what will shape everything that comes next. You can choose to trust it, to lean into it, to allow it to guide your decisions and your actions. Or you can choose to question it, to delay, to wait for something else that may never come as clearly as this. The choice is yours. But deep down, you already know what feels right. That quiet sense of certainty within you, that is your answer. So do not ignore it. Do not look away from it. Embrace it. Because this is the sign you asked for. This is the moment you have been waiting for. And this is where everything begins to move from uncertainty into purpose. Stay aware. Stay open. Stay aligned. Because what comes next will build on what you choose right now. There comes a moment in every spiritual journey where clarity demands action, where awareness leads to release. And that moment is now. You have seen what needed to be seen. You have felt what needed to be felt. And deep within you, there is a quiet understanding rising. Something in your life can no longer remain the same. This is not about loss. This is about liberation. For so long, you may have carried things that were never meant to stay with you. Old fears that shaped your decisions. Doubts that made you question your worth. Attachments to people, places, were outcomes that felt necessary at one time but have now become heavy. And while you may not have realized it fully before, you can feel it now. That weight is no longer aligned with who you are becoming. God is not asking you to release these things to make your life harder. He is asking you to release them so your life can finally move forward without resistance. Because what you hold on to holds on to you. Every fear you keep, every doubt you entertain, every unhealthy attachment you refuse to let go of, it limits your ability to receive what is meant for you. It keeps you connected to a version of your life that no longer reflects your growth. But now, you are different. You are more aware, more aligned, more connected to truth. And because of that, the things that once felt normal now feel restrictive. The thoughts that once seemed harmless now feel draining. The patterns that once repeated without question now stand out clearly. This is your moment of release. And release does not always mean something dramatic or sudden. Sometimes, it begins with a decision, a quiet but powerful choice within yourself that says, I will no longer carry what is not meant for me. It may be the decision to stop doubting yourself when you feel guided in a certain direction. It may be the decision to step away from situations that disturb your peace. It may be the decision to forgive, not because others deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. Whatever it is for you, you already feel it. You already know what has been weighing on your spirit. And now, you are being given the strength to let it go. Yes, it may feel uncomfortable at first. Let it go often does. It can feel like stepping into the unknown, like releasing something familiar without fully seeing what will replace it. But what you must understand is this. What God has prepared for you cannot fully enter your life until you create space for it. And that space is created through release. You cannot hold on to the old and expect to fully receive the new. You cannot stay connected to what drains you and expect to feel energized by what is ahead. At some point, a shift must happen. And that shift is happening within you right now. You are not losing anything that is truly meant for you. What is meant for you will remain. It will grow with you. It will align with your peace, your purpose, and your path. But what is not meant for you will begin to fade, to fall away, or to feel out of place. And instead of resisting that process, you are now being called to embrace it. Because every release brings you closer to alignment. Every moment you choose peace over pressure, clarity over confusion, truth over comfort, you are stepping deeper into the life that has been waiting for you. And something beautiful happens when you truly release what has been holding you back. You begin to feel lighter, not just emotionally but spiritually. There is a sense of freedom that starts to grow within you. A sense that you are no longer carrying burdens that were never yours to begin with. A sense that you are finally moving without resistance. This is where transformation becomes real. Not just in your thoughts, not just in your awareness, but in your actions. You are no longer the person who holds on out of fear. You are becoming the person who lets go with faith. And that changes everything. So take this moment seriously. Do not delay what you already know needs to be done. Trust what you feel. Honor what hath been revealed. And allow yourself to release, fully and freely, without hesitation. Because what is waiting for you on the other side of that release is greater than anything you are leaving behind. There comes a point where everything you have been feeling, learning, releasing, and understanding begins to settle into something steady. Not loud, not overwhelming, but deeply clear. This is the moment of alignment, the point where your inner world and your path forward begin to move as one. You may not even notice it at first. It does not arrive with noise or announcement. It comes quietly like a calm after a lone storm. The confusion that once clouded your thoughts begins to fade. The urgency that once pushed you to act without clarity starts to dissolve. And in its place, there is something different, something grounded. A knowing. Not a knowing that explains everything, but a knowing that reassures you. You are exactly where you need to be. This is what alignment feels like. It is not about having all the answers. It is about no longer needing them all at once. It is about trusting that each step will be revealed at the right time and feeling at peace with that process. For so long, you may have searched for certainty in external things. You looked for signs in outcomes, validation in others, confirmation in visible results. But now, something has shifted. You are no longer searching in the same way because you are beginning to trust what is already within you. The trust is not sluchakien. It is the result of everything you have gone through. Every moment of stillness, every realization, every release, every choice to listen instead of react, all of it has brought you here. And now, you are stepping into a space where your actions are no longer driven by fear or pressure, but by clarity and alignment. This is where life begins to feel different. You will start to notice that decisions become easier, not because they are always simple, but because you are no longer torn between what feels right and what feels comfortable. You are choosing based on truth, even when it challenges you. You will notice that your energy shifts. You are no longer drained by things that once consumed you. You are more protective of your peace, more aware of what you allow into your space, and more intentional with how you move through your days. You will also notice that opportunities begin to align with you in a different way. Things that once felt forced will now feel natural. Doors that once seemed closed may begin to open, not because you pushed them, but because you are now aligned with the timing and the direction meant for you. This is the power of alignment. It does not remove effort, but it removes unnecessary struggle. It does not eliminate challenges, but it gives you the clarity to move through them without losing yourself. And perhaps the most important part of this moment is this: you begin to feel at peace with who you are becoming. There is no longer a constant need to prove, to chase, or to compare. You are not looking at others and wondering if you are behind or ahead. You are grounded in your own path, understanding that your journey is unique and unfolding exactly as it should. This peace is not sluchakien. It is the result of alignment with God. Because when you are aligned with Him, you are no longer trying to force your way through life. You are walking with guidance. You are moving with purpose. You are living in a way that reflects truth rather than confusion. And that changes everything. You may still face moments of uncertainty, but they will not shake you the way they once did. You may still encounter challenges, but they will not define you the way they once could. Because now, you are rooted in something deeper. You are rooted in alignment. So as you stand in this moment, take it in. Recognize how far you have come. Feel the difference within yourself. And most importantly, trust it. Because this is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a new way of walking through it. A way that is guided, steady, and deeply connected. A way where you are no longer searching for direction because you are already moving within it. Beloved soul, now everything begins to soften. After all the intensity, the awakening, the truth that has risen within you, there comes a moment where your spirit is invited into rest. Not the kind of rest that comes from escape, but the kind that comes from understanding. The kind that settles deep within you and whispers, "It is okay, now you are aligned. You have heard what needed to be heard. You have seen what needed to be seen." And even if there are still pieces unfolding, even if not everything is fully clear yet, something within you has changed forever. You are no longer standing in confusion. You are no longer searching without direction. You are now walking with awareness, with trust, and with a quiet strength that cannot be shaken the way it once was. This is the calm after the revelation. It is not empty. It is full of peace that does not depend on circumstances, full of clarity that does not need constant reassurance, full of a presence that reminds you, you are not alone, and you never were. God has been with you through every moment of this journey, through the noise, through the silence, through the questions, through the answers. And now, as you stand in this space of stillness once again, it feels different because now you understand it. Stillness is no longer uncomfortable. It is no longer something you try to escape. It has become your place of connection, a place where you can return again and again, knowing that within it you will find guidance, peace, and truth. You no longer fear the quiet because you have learned that the quiet is where God speaks the loudest. And from this moment forward, carry this with you. When life becomes overwhelming again, and there will be moments when it does, return to stillness. When confusion tries to rise again, pause and listen. When the world becomes loud, do not let it pull you away from what you now know. You have been given something powerful, something that cannot be taken from you unless you choose to ignore it. The awareness to recognize God's voice, the strength to trust it, and the peace to follow it without fear. This is your foundation now. And as you continue your journey, remember this truth. You do not need to have everything figured out. You do not need to rush. You do not need to chase what is already being aligned for you. Just remain still and listen. Because God is still speaking. He will guide you in the moments you least expect. He will confirm what you need to know at the right time. And He will continue to walk with you, step by step, as long as you remain open and willing to hear Him. You are protected. You are guided. You are chosen to receive this message at this exact moment for a reason. So breathe deeply and rest in that knowing. Type "I trust God's timing" in the comments if you receive this peace. Lesson code 444 is now activated. And as this peace settles into your spirit, hear this call not as a request, but as a divine assignment. What you have received here is not meant to stay with you alone. It is meant to flow through you, like a river that brings life to others who are still wandering in noise and confusion. Scripture declares, "I will pour water on the thirsty land, and streams on the dry ground," and right now, you are part of that flow. I feel led to act right now. Let that be your declaration of obedience. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks or PayPal, you are not giving to a platform. You are fueling a movement of light. Your seed becomes oil that keeps this lamp burning, reaching souls who are crying out for the very clarity you have just received. The links are already placed in every video description, and the QR code stands before you as an open door. Do not delay this moment. Release your seed in faith. Step into alignment through your action. And as you give, may it return to you pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing in ways that confirm heaven has seen your obedience. Now go forward in peace and never forget what stillness has revealed to you.